Hello guys, good day researchers. Uh, the God in me greets the God in you. May God bless you. The purpose of this video is to discuss to you what you will do next after the validation process of your research instrument. So meaning to say, you can only proceed on this part of your instrumentation if the research instrument needed for your research paper is already validated by three experts or three professionals. And the next part after validation that you need to accomplish is this what we call pre-testing. So meaning to say, in this video, I will be discussing to you some important reminders that you need to take into account right after the validation process of your paper. And this is what we call pre-testing. Now, let's first talk about what is pre-testing. So technically, pre-testing is a process of trying out your research instrument. It could be your survey, your questionnaire, or interview guide question in a smaller group of respondent before using it on the actual study or respondent. So meaning to say, pag sinabi nating pre-testing, ito yung process kung saan hahanap tayo ng mga individual that can serve as the respondent of our study for the pre-testing only. Meaning to say, Sir Giovanni, can we get the actual respondents of the study as the respondent for our pre-testing? The answer is no. Kasi, pag sinabi nating respondent, in pre-testing, meaning to say, they are those individual na almost have the same characteristic of your actual respondents, but it just so happened na merong isa or dalawang criteria sa paper ninyo ang hindi ninyo na-meet. For example, meron kayong 5 criteria na needed for your respondents of the study. And then, by using these 5 criteria, nakapag-identify kayo ng 50 respondents. So meaning to say, those identified 50 respondents for the quantitative could not be the respondent for pre-testing. Ang tingnan ninyo is yung mga respondent na halimbawa, out of 5 criteria, 3 or 4 yung na-meet nila. Hindi nila na-meet yung pang-4 or pang-5. So meaning to say, they are this what we called almost respondent of the study. But it just so happened lamang na merong ilang parts ng criteria natin na hindi nila na-meet. So meaning to say, pag sinabi nating pre-testing, ito yung process kung saan yung ating actual and validated research instrument, pinapasagutan natin in a small group of respondents, pero yung mga respondents na yun, hindi sila yung actual na respondents natin. Okay? Pero sila yung pwedeng naging bahagi ng ating sample size. Pero dahil nga merong 2 or 3 criteria or isa criteria na hindi nila na-meet, hindi sila naging bahagi ng ating respondents of the study. So pwedeng sila yung kuhanin natin. Okay? Then, ano yung dahilan? Bakit natin ginagawa ang pre-testing? Number one, para malaman natin, kaya bang maunawaan ng mga respondents ang mga question na inilagay natin sa ating Likert scale, for example, or sa ating interview guide questions? And then, ito bang mga indicators at ito bang mga questions na inilagay ko sa aking research instrument ay kaya ba niyang makuha lahat ng information for my research paper? And then, yung haba ba, for example, ng mga questions or ng mga indicators na inilagay ko sa aking questionnaire ay bearable ba? Hindi ba ito magko-consume ng mahabang oras once na ito ay sagutan ng ating mga respondents? Hindi ba ito magiging abala sa kanila? Yung flow ba ng interview na gagamitin ko for my actual respondent ay hindi ba magulo? Hindi ba ito kalat-kalat? Did I follow a systematic way of asking question? And then, yung needed information na kailangan kong makuha, nakukuha ko ba siya with with this set of instrument? And then, lastly is that kaya bang masagutan ng mga respondent ko yung mga tanong na inilagay ko sa aking research instrument. So if lahat ng mga yon ay na-meet sa ating pre-testing, ibig sabihin, okay yung ating ginawang research instrument. Okay? And then, sino yung mga tao na nagpa-participate sa ating pre-testing? As I mentioned a while ago, the individuals who will participate in pre-testing are those what we call almost respondents of the study. Pag sinabi nating almost respondents of the study, they have almost same characteristics and similarities with our actual respondents. Pero merong dalawa or isa na criteria doon sa ating mga criteria na ginawa ang hindi nila na-meet. As given kanina, halimbawa, meron tayong 5 criteria para sa research paper natin. Nung ginamit natin yung 5 criteria na yon, meron tayong 55 respondents na na-identify. So yung 55 respondents na yon, wag mo silang gagalawin for pre-testing. Wag mo silang kukuhanin for pre-testing. Ang kailangan mong tingnan, sino sa mga na-press survey ko ang out of 5, 4 or 3 lang yung na-meet nilang criteria. Okay? And kung sino man yung 4 or 3 lang yung na-meet na criteria sa inyong out of 5 criteria, sila yung magiging respondents ninyo for pretesting. Para yung actual na respondents of the study, hindi natin magagalaw. Okay po, so ibig sabihin, ang respondents or participants sa ating pre-testing, sila yung mga tinatawag natin na almost respondents or participants of the study. Bakit sila tinawag na almost respondents or participants of the study? Maaring out of 5 or kung ilang criteria man ang ginawa ninyo, meron silang hindi na-meet noon. Ngayon, sir, ilan po ang bilang ng respondents na kailangang mag-participate for pre-testing? Kapag quanti, at least makasampu kang almost respondents of the study, okay na yon. For quali naman, at least makakuha ka ng 3 hanggang 5 na almost participants of the study natin. So take note, ang ginagamit natin na term, almost respondents at almost participant. Ulitin natin kung bakit. Kasi maaring sa 5 criteria na meron tayo, 3 lang yung na-meet nila or 4 lang yung na-meet nila. Kaya hindi sila yung naging actual respondents of the study natin. Ngayon ang tanong, kapag po meron na kaming nakuhang respondents or participants para sa aming interview and survey, paano po kami magagawa ng pre-testing? Pwede nyo gawin yung traditional na format. Pag sinabi nating traditional format, yung inyong ginawang Likert scale, for example, ay ipiprint ninyo. Tapos ibibigay ninyo sa inyong mga almost respondents of the study. O di kaya naman yung tinatawag natin na contemporary. Pag sinabi natin contemporary, yung ginawa ninyong research instrument, pwede nyo siyang ilipat or pwede nyo siyang isalin sa Google Form and then yun ang ibibigay ninyo sa inyong mga respondents of the study. Sir, paano naman po kapag interview? Kapag interview, kailangan kung ano yung actual na procedure na gagawin ninyo for data gathering in interview, ganun din yung gagawin ninyo. Halimbawa, nakalagay sa paper ninyo sa chapter 3, data gathering. Ang paraan ng pagkuha ninyo ng data sa interview ay face-to-face. So, ibig sabihin, ang pre-testing ninyo, gagawin nyo din siya ng face-to-face. Okay? Halimbawa, nakalagay doon, focus group discussion ang gagawin ninyo sa inyong pre-testing. Ganon din ang gagawin ninyo sa pagkuha ng data sa pre-testing. Okay? Bakit po ganon? Kasi we are trying to follow yung data gathering na nilagay natin sa chapter 3 natin for us to see okay ba siya, magmamaterialize ba siya, hindi ba tayo magkakaroon ng problem kapag ito yung ginawa nating procedure. Okay po, so ulitin ko lang. How do we do pre-testing? We do pre-testing sa pamamagitan ng kung ano yung nakalagay sa ating data gathering and procedure sa ating chapter 3. Kung ang nakalagay sa ating data and gathering procedure na chapter 3 ay magbibigay ka ng survey sa pamamagitan ng Google Form, so ganun din yung gagawin ninyo. Magbibigay ka ng survey form na pa-printed, ganun yung gagawin ninyo. Mag-interview ka ng face-to-face, ganun ang gagawin. Mag-interview ka ng online, ganun ang gagawin ninyo. So we have to follow the procedures written on that. Then halimbawa, nagawa nyo na yung pre-testing, nakapagsagot na sila. Ano yung sunod ninyong gagawin? Hahanap naman kayo ng statistician or language editor na mag-check ng nakuha ninyong data from pre-testing. At kung ano yung makukuhang interpretation ng statistician or language editor ninyo, yun ang magdedictate whether pwede na ba kayong mag-data gathering or hindi. Kapag ang lumabas, for example, sa result ng inyong pre-testing coming from statistician ay good, acceptable, and excellent yung ginawa ninyong research instrument, pwede na kayong mag-data gathering. Kapag ang lumabas sa analysis ng language editor ay good, good o di kaya naman ay acceptable, pwede na rin kayong mag-conduct ng inyong interview. On the event, for example, lumabas sa inyong sa computation ng statistician at language editor na needs revision and improvement, kailangan ninyong ulitin yung inyong ginawang research instrument para ma-meet natin yung kailangang standard na good, acceptable, or excellent sa ating mga research instrument. Question, Sir, pwede po ba namin kuhaning statistician or language editor sa aming pre-testing yung amin pong language editor and statistician na kinuha before? The answer is yes. Okay po. So that's how we do pre-testing. And if you do have questions and clarification to Sir Juweni, do not hesitate to ask question to sir. Okay po. By the way, kapag nagbigay kayo ng data sa inyong pre-testing, kapag kailangan ng demographic profile, nakalagay pa din yun ha. Tingnan nyo tong example ng sir. I will be showing you an example of, ito naman ay pag-Google form na ginawa. Okay. Ito. This one. Ito yung pag-Google form. Nakalagay yung title, merong message, at nakalagay din dito yung confidentiality, nakalagay yung demographic profile na kakailanganin sa mga respondent, and then after that, the Likert scale. Okay po, Likert scale na kailangan for their survey. And then last one is yung data privacy ulit. I hereby certify that the information I provided are correct. So that's how we do pre-testing. So once again, if my question, do not hesitate to raise your question to Sir Giovanni. So thank you so much for listening and God bless.